Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our final game of the day as we see Blue Biozoo take on Pentakill Teemo, please. And what's looking like a pretty exciting matchup. Don't you agree, Torres?
I can definitely agree. I feel like there are kind of a lot of prospects from last season that have come back and return faces. Or all my actually two teams, I think. He was actually someone I ran into in solo queue, and I was actually quite impressed with in this top lane play.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by this team. A lot of these guys, they've changed some names up, but we did have them last season. And of course, we have our supreme leader, Chris Songo, down there as Cross Songo in the bot lane. So it's always going to be a crazy game when he's involved.
Yeah, I mean, Pentakill Teemo actually had like a pretty bad loss, but I don't think that's something that should shake their mental too much. I'm sure they can come back. It was the first game of the season. Of course, it was bad, but I'm sure they've learned from those mistakes that they made yesterday, and they're gonna show up pretty good today.
Yeah, they're gonna look back on that loss and laugh as they go 13-0 on the rest of the season. As our draft gets underway here. They're normally pointed out, but I think it's interesting to note that they did ban Pentakill Teemo Please's namesake, the Teemo. Not something you often see that often. I didn't really think Pure Llama mained that.
Maybe it was just more of the meme, but other than that, it looks like the bans are true. The Seraphine and Nocturne ban, we've seen Nocturne played in the league fair bit amount today. I think it was twice, I want to say 2 or 3 times in our four games. So Nocturne being banned as a popular champion is really good. Tristana, high tier ADC, big ban from BBZ as well. There's some good bans going through, and especially with Pentakill Teemo, please also banning the Seraphine. Really just getting some A tier picks out of the way.
Yeah, those are some pretty solid picks. Like you said, Nocturne has been all over the place, especially with the Stride Breaker build for allowing him to ult onto a target if they get away, just jump forward. And Aurel, first pick for BBZ. Very solid, probably the strongest support in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the B1 Rel, there are obviously counters to it, but I mean, it's also just such a strong champion. With Seraphine out of the way, Seraphine, Rel, and like maybe an Alistar being up there in the S tier for the support, it's really just leaving it up. I assume, yeah, the Alistar being picked up for R1, just an easy counter to Rel, also one of the S tier supports, really just picking it up.
Yeah, when I play Rel, despise Alistars. It's almost as annoying as Poppy's, just completely shutting down everything you just did. Like, I jumped in. Oh, no, I'm getting headbutted away. Okay, thanks, bye. The Alistar up, though, I'm going to guess they try to run the Kai'Sa here. Kai'Sa is the strongest AD carry still up on the board, and there it is. Kai'Sa coming out for PTP. So they've got a really solid bot lane right there. Can get some pretty good dives, especially post-6.
I'm going to give ourselves a pat on the back. We're 2 for 2 on these picks and bans right here, my friend.
Hey. What do you think next? Can we go three for 3?
I don't think about that. They might blind pick it. See, because the bot laner's already picked. They're opting into the Xayah though. I mean, it's a pretty standard pick. You could also pick the Jinx, but Xayah's it's okay.
Yeah, they're just flying through their picks. They clearly have an idea of what they want. They've been really rapid in these lock-ins. PTP taking a little bit more time, trying to contemplate what they want here. I'm gonna guess they try to grab their mid laner, just to allow them a little bit of breathing room in the next ban phase to kind of ease Carrot's like what he's dealing with. And there's the Vladimir. If it's anything like last game, it's probably gonna be mids again, and we'll have to see what they ban out, what they don't want to deal with there. But jungle bans now are going to be on the table for BBZ. Stop PTP.
Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, we have basically what is essentially probably going to be top bans coming out because both sides don't have a top winner. See, as the Shen gets banned out, and as teams are both drafting towards more of a team fight composition, I assume the weak side top winners are going to be banned out from both sides at least. But it looks like BBZ has opted into banning a carry jungler.
Yeah, I haven't seen Kha'Zix. I don't even think last season I saw much Kha'Zix. Maybe once. It's not a very common pick across most elos right now. It's been a while since we've seen Kha'Zix had a lot of high priority. So that kind of surprised me. 2 more top lane bans out right there for PTP. I guess not trying to pinch that mid pool, but the top pool instead. Some solid picks and smart ones too. Don't want global ults are always something you do not want to deal with.
I mean, I think the Kha'Zix ban is interesting, at the same time is also understandable. Lilia suffers very greatly from early invaders. If you catch her at level 2 in the invade, it's very hard for her to come back online. But it also deviates away from Pentakill Teemo's comp, where it's teamfight comp. So it's kind of a bit of a weird ban, but as I say that, it looks like Pentakill Teemo is really just following with the trend of their teamfight comp, really just beefing up their comp, their front line for the Vladimir and Kai'Sa. That's all the damage they really need. As Sejuani and Alistar make a good engage / front line for them.
And there's that Gnar to give a little bit of tankiness to BBZ. They have some pretty squishy champions right now. And ooh, the Sylas lock-in. I love this. I love to see a Sylas mid. He is one of my favorite mid laners.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know much about mid lane as it's my weakest role, but according to the matchup, I assume that Vladimir will have prio over Sylas in this lane for after level 9, but in the early stages of the game, I think Sylas will have to push onto the Vladimir. We'll see how that pans out. And it looks like the R5 PTP top laner is going to be Lowy.
Yeah, I was expecting something like a Renekton, maybe a I don't know, like a Jace or some like a little bit extra damage to help carry them through the early game. And Lowy seems like a weird matchup to me. I don't really think she does super great in Gnar. I don't play as much top lane, so I'm not too sure. Do you know how that matchup goes?
Personally, I don't know how that matchup goes. I'm pretty sure Gnar is going to win that matchup, but we get a lot of, depending on how he plays the Wayne state and the waves, I can see him getting very far ahead. Maybe even a 10-20 CS lead just alone without any jungler intervention. But I mean, Lowy is always one of those champions where if you disrespect her, you're going to get a wall of it.
Yeah, and there's 3 melees on the side of BBZ. I mean, you've got the Rel has to go in, the Sylas, the Gnar when he goes into Mega. Even Lilia has to get pretty close, so she gets a good ult, that Lowy could get quite a bit of slapping going on up there.
Yeah, but I mean, as this closes out, I think BBZ, if they play it right, I feel like their composition is probably going to end up winning. I'm going to put my bets on BBZ, even though I kind of like PTP's drafts a little bit more.
I think that's fair. I'm going to personally go with PTP. I can't fault a team for picking the pocket pick, the pocket Lowy. I have faith in them. I think this is going to be their first win, and I think as we get into this game, I think they're going to do something a little special here. I expect an invader, something cheesy to start this game out to kind of get them that lead going.
Of course, and with that, we'll probably just go right into the game.
Yeah, here we go. Last game of the day, BBZ versus PTP. As we get onto the Rift, I see some fun emotes there. Some of the newer ones with those little space groove cats. Always so cute to see. And I want to think about the early priority for these junglers. So you have a Sejuani, you have a Lilia. They're both their champions that could do a little bit of pressure in the early game. I feel, at least when I play Lilia, I like to go in really early for those nice quick Qs and the drive-by ganks. Where do you think their priority is going to lie as they do their first clear?
Depending on who you're looking at, I mean, there are a lot of gank options for Sejuani. You can gank all 3 lanes. It's very easy for her to gank all 3 lanes. But on the other side, you have Lilia, where the top lane is her most gankable lane. I will say that the most gankable lane. The Vladimir should not be caught with unless he doesn't have pool. And the bot lane is just too hard to engage on with that Alistar. Every time that bot lane gank will probably be in vain unless that Alistar has already used his W or his Q. What I want to see from Lilia, sorry to trample.
Oh no, go ahead.
What I want to see from Lilia in the first half of the map, I want to see her full clear unless there's a gank opportunity top. And after taking her full clear, I want to see her back immediately and start invading the Sejuani when the respawns. Sejuani really suffers from slow camp clears. And if Lilia can get ahead with a level lead and maybe before the first Drake, even get a level 6 before the Sejuani has the impact on the map, I really feel like BBZ is going to have a swing in this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to ride a lot on where this Lilia can create pressure at. You've got to get some leads here. While the Gnar does have that matchup on the top, overall it is still a very, very beefy comp from PTP. And if they can get a little bit of a lead going, it's going to be really hard for BBZ to catch up. As we saw a little bit of trade in that pregame right there. The Vladimir I'm seeing already getting a lot of damage out in the mid lane. He's just poking that at Sylas every opportunity he gets because Sylas really can't respond to him.
Yeah, I mean, the late states are going about how we thought Although Stylus is getting pushed in a little bit by the Vladimir as he's building up a second wave. Everything else is playing out exactly as we said.
Yeah, well, yesterday was, Lights was doing okay, but he had a little bit of trouble yesterday. So we're going to see if he can make that up right here as Cross goes in, trying to get onto Rat. Carrots does get the knock up to stop that, dissuade that disengage from going any further. They take a nice trade. The level 2 spike, always a good time to go right in, and you've got that advantage in the bottom lane. And you're just gonna back off right here. Meanwhile, Lights and Llama dueling in the mid lane. A little bit of trade. Llama still getting the better of this matchup, I'd say, overall. He's got his heal is a lot easier to hit since he can hit anything with it, or Silas has to hit a champion. So I'd expect that he's just going to keep his lane pushed up for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they re-put like the bot line from BBZ really played that well. They understand the wave state and they understand their condition of when they can go in, because once Alistar hits 2, there's no way the Rel is going to be getting engaged. So they take the early trade, pushing the wave, and they really get that good early poke down, just strict dominance in the lane.
Yeah, and they're going to assert dominance in this upper jungle right here, too, taking the scuttle from poor old Graviel. And he's going to have to be limping back up to those Krugs, try to get a consolation prize for himself. Doc's making his appearance in the mid lane, making his presence known and felt, letting this Vlad know, hey, you walk up too far forward, I will come back. As the game state just kind of settling into a nice farming pattern, nothing too cheesy going on. Daniel going to keep doing this. The one nice thing about Alawi, it kind of makes her a little bit of range, is if you hit that E, is you can just kind of pull it to you and just smack them from afar without them being able to really respond.
Although I haven't watched BBZ from their last game yesterday, something within the first 4 minutes of the game I want to commend them on is their ability to move and mesh with the jungler. Something that you may not have seen if you're just the average viewer is that due to the late stage that Silas had early on and that Gnar had, they were able to, despite Sejuani getting on the early crab, they were able to move and force her off of that crab, whereas Lilia is effectively able to get the double scuttle. And that's something you really need to look for in your jungler in your mid and top matchup. But as we say that, it looks like Sejuani is coming up top lane for the gank and All Might's the hero. Sejuani gets a nice interrupt. It looks like an interrupt on the E.
Yeah, he's going down there. He's getting pretty low. Has to flash out. He's about to go mega. Will he get it in time? He is not. Graviel's going to grab the first blood for himself, making vengeance for that lost scuttle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really bad timing at point. I feel like the BBZ's teammates should be notifying All Might that he shouldn't be that far pushed up, even though he has a double wave stacked up. The grab did not have his red buff, and it was showed when they went for that play. So of course he's going to pick up that red buff and Krugs before he goes back. He should be. All Might should know he's within the vicinity.
Yeah, you gotta be careful there. Gnar can jump out here. I think he was a little bit late on that flash and jump too. I think if he'd done that earlier, he probably would have had a little bit easier time to get out. He waited until he'd already taken 3 stacks, so by the time he jumps out, he just gets hit one more time from afar, and his whole disengage has been nullified right there. Got to play a little bit more respectful when you've got a Sejuani coming into your lane. He's going back up for another push right now. No one else, no objectives really on the map right now, except that Ocean really contestable. Vanal actually getting quite a bit of damage on to All Might, despite being down in items, not really having any damage. It's the power of that Alawi soul, letting you amp some damage onto the opponent. Tentacle is just going to dissuade All Might. And looking around the rest of the map right now, Dak's doing really good on his farm, but we're going to see if he can get an engage up here first. Here he comes onto Vanal, trying to get him with the E. Does hit him, but not going to follow that up with an ult.
Yeah, something we were pointing out earlier is that with that early lead, the Lilia has gotten 6 way before the Sejuani, where I believe the EXP on Sejuani, she has just hit 5. She's at the bottom threshold, and Lilia just hit 6. She's a whole level up, and that's due to what happened with the movement of the double scuttle and just having a faster clear speed, despite getting that kill on top side for the Sejuani.
Yeah, it's paying dividends right now, but we're gonna have to see if they can hold that as Carrots roams up looking for a gank. But Champion and Cross are here, trying to try to dissuade him, maybe try to force his hand here, and try to get poked pretty far into this jungle. They don't know where Sejuani is right now. Got to be a little bit careful. I know she's on the top side, but they definitely do not. Now they're looking for this blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, the reason they can do this is obviously because Silas has the first move, but it looks like we get a little bit of an engage going on.
Axe going on to the Kaisa. He's going to make her sleepy, but not going to get anything else out of it. Carrot's going to half health, having to burn the E there. Not really much lost. I mean, they might lose his blue buff. I'd take that trade for a Liliel. It means the rest of your map will be a little bit safe.
Just interject a little bit. It looks like Sejuani has gone through her top side, through the blue side jungle, and all the way wrapped around all the way mid. No fruits for her labor, it seems. Looks like she's still sporting the level 5, whereas Lily has burned 2 flashes down in the bot lane. What I would have liked to see from the from BBZ, instead of trying to force themselves on that blue, as I say that.
Oh, hang on, we got a fight going here. Llama and Light. Llama have to burn his W to get out of that one. And see the idea there, trying to maybe grab a kill. I think he burned his ult. He did indeed burn his ult there. Vlad's still holding on. I mean, Silas still holding on to his. So he might try to grab that for himself on a dive, especially with how low he's getting. And like you were saying, not much fruits of labor for the Sej. She's still level 5, and she's just able to really exert much more pressure right now ahead of this Lilia.
Yeah, what I was going to say a little bit earlier, before when they were fighting over that blue buff for a good like 30-40 seconds, instead of taking that blue, as soon as you forced those flashes out of the bot lane, Silas had the push for another 20 to like 10, 15, 20 seconds. What I would have liked to have seen out of BBZ is actually call the Drake. Getting that early Drake will alleviate some of the pressure of the bot lane, deter the Sejuani from the bot side of the map.
Yeah, and it looked pretty open for them. I think they were just a little bit dissuaded just where said till she popped out mid. So better play safe than sorry. You know, you don't want to give the goal is so close right now. You don't want to give over the slight lead you have. As Graviel pushing a little bit to clear that vision out on the bot side there, trying to keep her bot lane a little bit safe, dissuade the Lilia from just assuming she has it safe there. And they're actually going to be the ones to start up this Drake. And I think they're going to get it pretty for free. There's no one really around to contest this, as Dax is on the top side of the map right now, clearing out the Krugs.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of counter juggling for the Drake. I would have liked to seen, knowing that the bot lane had backed, the enemy bot lane was probably going to either reset or they're going to take that Drake. But since you have no vision, I mean, it was pretty, not obvious, but I mean, it was a good look from PTP to take that Drake.
Yeah, and ooh, Vanal, if he had grabbed that soul, I think probably would have, like, he might have, I don't think he would have gotten Dax, but he definitely would have put Dax in the danger zone right there. As now, looks like BBZ is going to try, actually on Pure Llama in the mid lane, getting a little fight. Doesn't look like Lights wants to follow up on that once the W is burnt out. A little bit nervous about diving of Vladimir, as one should be, you know, a lot of healing right there, could be baited. As BBZ starts up this Herald right now, Vlad not really going to roam over here. I think they're just going to give it up on the side of PTP and let them take this objective, not want to risk anything.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's just basically a 1-for-1 trade for the Drake and the Herald, just a little bit later. As we see that. There's a little bit of a trade going down to the bot lane across the and getting a nice stun. It looks like Champion also gets the root.
Gotta look out. Carrots can't take any more of those hits. The armor shredding from the Rel is really putting a dampener on his ability to tank that Xayah damage. Dax steals some Raptors for himself going forward. Llama trying to go in right here. The Sej ult goes out. Dax going forward. Llama trying to get around right there. Ooh, the Silas ult on to the Sej is going to slow that down, but they're going to jump right onto him. Lights has to get out. Both limping away from this fight, except maybe Pure Llama. He's just dealing right back up. Good trade in the mid lane. Good escape from both teams.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a 2v2 skirmish. Trade out a flash for a ghost. Overall, a couple ults, but that's it, really it. We're just testing the waters to see what's going to happen at this next skirmish or Drake fight.
Yeah, they were just, like you said, just a little skirmish. I think BBZ actually thought they could fight it there. I don't think they saw the Sejuani until the engage went in. But, you know, still managed to get out, still knowing, okay, this is about how much we can do in that much time. So gotta give a little bit more respect to the Vladimir, knowing they can't just try to dive him. Even if he's low, he might get something. Graviel's going to try to defend this turret. He is very low, though. He's got to be careful that Chris doesn't just go right in on him. Could be an easy kill, and as the only one with a kill right now, he is worth quite a bit. He's worth a little bit extra gold. But they're just going to back up right now. Dragon up in 2.5 minutes. I'm looking at the blue buff. Apologies. So not really much to contest right now. I would expect Dax to try to drop that Herald bottom lane, considering they've already got 2 plates down. But we'll have to see if that's a decision.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just at a lull state, kind of waiting for the next Drake to spawn, seeing where the teams want to go with this. Looks like Xayah has finished her item, though, which is really strong. Something I want to point out there, it's been 5 minutes since the last fight at that, where the fight at that bluish happened with Lilia, and she spent most of her time on the top side. She spent most of her, well, she's been here 3 times, and nothing has been done.
Yeah, she's not getting any pressure up here. Oh, wait, I might have spoke too soon. Getting a little bit of extra damage onto him. Vanel going forward. He is going to go Drowsy. I think they're going to get a kill here. They are indeed. Dax takes down Vanel. Walking a little bit too far forward away from your turret, Vanel.
Yeah, I think Vanel felt a little bit safer as Sejuani was coming up, but I mean, a little bit too late. A little bit overestimation of how much damage she can take, especially with the Lilia ult.
Yeah, now they're going to actually drop the Herald up here on the top side. Just try to grab as much gold as they can. Graviel trying to make some pressure, trying to dissuade them from continuing this. They are going to get some extra plates off, and not much more than those 3. And the Alistair actually on his way up here. I think Carrots is going to try to find something if Dax walks over. Lights and Llama dueling in the mid. Still just back and forth. Kind of an uninteresting trade that just heals so much off of each other. Actually, as Llama's pushing forward there, he's looking to force Lights out of lane, as they are actually going for the Dragon now on PTP. Not Dragon, sorry. They were trying to test that Scuttle right there on PTP, but not going to get it. And they're trying for an invade. I think they're actually trying for an invade here. No, it's just Carrots.
They're trying to make the most out of Carrots' roam time. We're trying to establish some vision on the top side of the map. But as he drops up those wards, he's out of wards actually on his Stargons. And the Drake is going to be spawning in 30 seconds. So he either has to reset or they have to play this Drake with minimal vision.
What I was always informed of, what I was always told is you need to back at 30 seconds to make sure that you are at Dragon on time if you're going to back at all. He should have backed by now, so they're just going to into this a little bit blind. They do have vision in the area, but it is a lot of pinks, so those out pretty quickly. So they're going to have to be a little bit extra cautious with how they deal with this, as the blue buff is being taken from Graviel yet again. They do get the root onto him. Graviel has to jump out of there. The teleport coming in from the Silas. They're looking for something. Graviel to half health. He's going to back away and go for this Dragon. Dax looking to grab them. The Infernal. See, PTP, are you going to try to contest this? Are you going to just let them just get this for free? I think the answer is it's free real estate right here for BBZ on this Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like this from PTP. They didn't make this split decision. They're all on the same page. They're just going to give up the Drake, maybe farm a couple waves. Vladimir catches a wave. At least half a wave. Whereas they don't extend the lead for BBZ. BBZ is already winning, and I feel like they already know that. They also have no TP on their top laner while the enemy does. I think it's a good look and a smart decision.
Yep, I agree with that completely. And, you know, this means they just get more Mountain Drakes, and with how tanky their team is, I think they actually might appreciate that little bit extra on that 3rd Mountain Drake than just a single Infernal. I think they'll have enough damage for themselves, and they'll be tanky enough that that damage isn't going to come back and bite them in the butt later. Light's trying to go into Llama, misses the E, but here comes the Alistair. Gonna go in, looking to maybe get his headbutt pulverized, but Lights is gonna sniff something out there. He's gonna back up. The duel continues, and the Alistair continue the roams. Always good to see, you know, Alistair, one of the better roaming champions in the game. He can make some big plays around the map, because everyone's actually kind of popping up around mid.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the Alistair is playing just a little bit too respectful. If you saw on the minimap, he was wavering a little bit, and he turned around twice, deciding whether or not. Might have been a little bit of miscommunication, but in the end, you probably end up forcing out a Silas Flash.
That's true. You know, you can get a flash. That's just one less tool that they have, especially with Herald coming up so shortly, actually just up right now. Could be another point of contention for these teams. You do see a lot of the team roaming out, trying to establish vision, trying to grab some wards to secure their position around it. As this mid turret does get chunked down a bit by Champion. The whole side of BBZ up here looking for this Herald. It's going to start up right with Dax. The in goes with Graviel. And here comes Llama going forward. He gets the massive 3-man ult. And there's going to get them low. Light's getting super low right there. Llama trying to run away. He is getting low. Dax chasing on him. Dax flashes and actually grabs Graviel instead. And now PTP is on the back foot. They're trying to get out of here. Only cost them 1, but they're going to have to give up this Herald too. 5 people here to deal with. They are just unable to 5v3.
Yeah, I mean, when you see that, you think, man, that's not legal. They can't be over there. They're way out of position. But what you don't understand is that your Kai'Sa's in the bot side of the map, and your Lowie's on the top side of the map without TP. You're essentially fighting 3v5, despite landing good ultimates and a good combo. It doesn't matter because the follow-up damage is not there.
Yeah, it's just you have a Vladimir, you have the ult, but nothing to use that amp damage on. And Dax going forward again, gonna get that poke out. They've got to be careful. The ult isn't up, but that burn can be pretty nasty.
Of course, I mean, we're probably just going to go into another lull state of the game right now, as PTP is really just kind of struggling to get their foothold in this game. They're trying to establish vision, clear it out, but at the same time, they're not catching waves of experience and gold while they're clumped up together like this, and they're slowly going to fall behind BBZ.
Yeah, the only one really getting any solo gold was Rat for a bit, and now it's just the Alawi on the top side trying to get big. She is down by about a quarter of half an item right now, I'd say. And Dax coming around, All Might tier 2. They're going to try to go in onto him. Vanal does get the E. The ult comes in, and here comes the slaps. 1 slap, 2 slap, 3 slap, 4. The healing from there is not going to be enough. It almost looked like it would be, but it's going to be the kill over to All Might on a beautiful gank top side.
And it really looks like BBZ is just looking to take over this game. As I hold that thought, Silence goes in with that Everfrost.
Yeah, down goes the Xayah, and Graviel comes here a little bit too late, gets the ult down, but not in time to save Kai'Sa. And now the return ult from the Sylas, looking for something. He does just barely miss the chains. I think that would have been a kill on Graviel if that had gone through. And trying to get something out of the state that they're in, it's just not working right now for PTP.
Yeah, I think Kai'Sa just overstayed a little bit. I understand the need to try and find some more waves of minions because you got a little bit behind during the lane. You're falling behind the ADC simply due to just the team's macro decisions around the side fighting without you. But I mean, it's just a little bit of an overstay, especially with the Drake spawning in a minute. Even though she would have been up, as she's up right now, I don't think it was worth dying for.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was, especially with 30 seconds left on this Drake. The rest of the team's getting low. Ooh, hang on. Graviel getting low again, too. He is going to go down. Dax grabs him, but here comes Carrots with the double headbutt pulverize, and the rest of the team is showing up now. Llama's coming in, the teleport coming in. Riot trying to get a lot of damage out. Here comes the Alawi looking for something. The ult comes in onto Chris. He's gonna get low. I don't think they're gonna pick something up, but they do actually. Vanal grabs the kill for himself, and the rest of BBZ limps out. Oh my! With an ult takes 2, double kill. Oh my god! Oh my! Showing those guns. Llama now on the run. Light's trying to grab him too. He's gonna W out, but I don't know if he can get away. The rest of the team isn't here. Vanal's gone, and it's going to be him going down too. A delayed ace for BBZ and a Mountain Drake for all their trouble.
Man, really just PTP looking like they're actually in a favorable situation. Actually goes in and it just bites them in the butt right there. All Might with the double ulti on the Gnar. That split fight at the end. They just had no cooldown to get away from him. And Lights, during this whole sequence in that back, he Everfrosted 4 different times. Riot, nerf that item. There it goes again.
Oh no!
They could dodge too.
I mean, it is ever frost. It is ever frozen. It's in the name. Always up that item. I want to see. Actually, I wonder what happened to Alawi there. She looked like she was in a good position, and she didn't look like she chased that hard. I'm interested in seeing how she died there. But we'll have to see if maybe they can make up for another fight. They did at least get something off the start of that, despite being slow, and now they're going for Champions right there. The flash over, Champions forced to use the ult. He's going to have to pull those feathers back at some point, but Vanal's here to grab the soul onto him. Gonna slap it, gonna go down, and Vladimir picks up the kill onto the Xayah.
I mean, it's a good constellation kill. You get a Xayah ult, flash, and you get some shutdown gold, putting it on one of your primary carries.
Yeah, too bad there's no Yumi here. Could have been a bird pinata.
Of course. But it looks like All Might coming from the side. Let's see if he decides to sweep this.
Yeah,
looks like it's not a little too risky for that one. A little too spiky for their liking, despite being up 8k.
Yeah, Vanal's though gonna try to grab that soul, and oh, Dax takes so much from it. I'm guessing Vanal is maxing the E to increase the percentage of damage that you take from your soul getting hit. And that's working out really well. The flash over from Carrots, they don't think they know he's here. They don't. Goes into the Dex, the headbutt pulverize, trying to get, he has to flash out to get away, and they're going to grab another Soul of Lights. He's going to get away, but that's just going to summon the Tentacle, and that's going to start slapping on him. It's going to miss that one. They're going to take that. Oh, and they catch Chris out on the side. The ult comes in from the Kaisa. They're forcing the W out. Here comes the Gnar. He's looking for something. Doesn't going to find anything with that ult right now. They're all going to back off. Don't think they're going to continue this fight. But Lights is looking for something. Gets the Q. They're going to go sleep onto the Vladimir. He does go into pooled save him. Out comes the ult. And they're going to grab him. Killing spree for Lights right now. Now Vanel's getting the ult out. It's too late, though. Dax is going to take him. They do take out the support. But there goes a double kill. Onto the Sejuani. Kara's now trying to fight for himself, and it's going to be a rampage for Lights. 2 kills apiece, and now it's just Rat alone. Wasn't around to stay with his fight, and what again, another good position from PTP gets thrown in their face as BBZ turns it around.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an overstay. PTP feeling good after getting that Isaiah kill, but they waited around so long that he just respawned and ran it down.
Oh, Rat, ooh, ace. Light grabbing himself a 3rd kill of that extended fight. Good play there. They're going to get this inhibitor turret. Guess they're just going to give up not take the inhibitor. I think they may have been able to, the rest of the team's on their way up. They might not be able to take that. Don't want to stay that long. They're going to back off right here. A 10,000 gold lead, 23 minutes into the game. It's looking pretty daunting here for PTP. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to come back into this unless they get another nice pick out, hopefully onto Lights or Dax.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really high on BBZ at the moment. Their individual plays are really standing out to me, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by what we're seeing. I yesterday a little bit rough for some of the players, but they managed to all come online today. Every one of them has been pulling their weight. Maybe Champions needs to get Champion needs a kill under his belt first. I think that and the Rel both grab a kill. I'll feel like you're contributing to the team. But in seriousness, they're all still doing good. The Xayah is drawing a lot of pressure from her team as she draws all the aggro, giving Lights and Dax that time. And now All Might's the center of the attention here. They're chasing onto him. He's going to use the Stridebreaker to run away. Here comes the ult from Graviel with the flash. They're forcing the flash out of All Might. Here comes the ult, though, from the Kaisa. They're getting him low, but they've got to be careful. There goes the ult in from All Might. He's only going to hit the Sejuani, but they do freeze him up. He's going to get the stun. He's going to go down. It's just Champions now, forced to use the ult. Vladimir chasing forward. He can do a lot of damage to this Xayah, just already right there, the W and the E and the Q alone, already taking her down to about 60% health. They're going to back off of there. A nice kill, but Carrot's going down up here. Dax goes godlike, and thankfully they don't continue that chase. So they might have been able to grab another couple kills onto PTP. They're sticking around a little bit long, dragging up in 23 seconds. If they need to back, they need to do it now, as Vanel grabs Light's Soul. They're going to try to smack that right now, and not get much out of it, not really any damage. They got forced off by Champion. Things are going to calm down as this Dragon's coming online.
I mean, PTP is simply just chasing for the fact they think they have a pick and they need a way back into the game. But it's the matter of the fact is they just overextend. Alistar ends up dying randomly in the bot side of the jungle, probably trying to zone someone out, fearing that if the Lily and them were to join up, they'd end. But I mean, in the end, the death timers were so long that when the support died, that Drake was effectively BBZ's. Not only because the death timer was synced up with the Drake when it would actually spawn, Alistar would not get there, and the Gnar, despite dying, has TP for that.
Yeah, unfortunate trade in terms of who they needed, who was okay to die. If it had been the Alawi Notion teleport back into it, maybe make a difference. Like you said, 4v5 is not a fight that PTP wants to take. Barely even want to take a 5v5 at this point, as now their vision is getting pressed out of the jungle. They're seeing a lot of darkness on their top side as the Baron is getting started up by BBZ. They're actually doing this pretty fast, and I don't think PTP's even expecting it.
PTP has no vision around this Baron. They have no idea. Now just finding out.
Now they do. Flash ult in. Gets a 4-man ult. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to go down before he can go into the pool. And now here comes Carrots trying to buy some time. There goes the ult from the Sejuani. A little bit late to that, but down goes the Kaisa. Down goes the Alistar. It's just Vanel and alone, and he's going to go down too. A double kill over to the Xayah and a double kill for the Gnar. Another ace for BBZ, and they're going to march it up the top side right here. Try to grab an inhibitor, and I don't think they can get the game. Still pretty short death timers, but I think they'll get quite a bit out of this. This base matters.
Yeah, I mean, they're just gonna, after getting that Baron, they basically just march it up the mid inhibitor, walk up to the top side, get that inhibitor, and slowly choke him out with a 4-1, or even a 5v5 pushing bot because they're just that strong. 15k gold up. It's just too high of a mountain for PTP to climb right now.
Yeah, it's just the Alistair, the the Kaisa, and the Vlad right now. So they're going to grab 2 inhibitors on the side of BBC and back out of here. Gold lead now closing in on 15k, almost. See if they can get it to 20k, but that's still a massive gold lead for 27 minutes. That's about, what, almost 2k. It's a little bit over 2k a minute, right? Am I doing my math right?
About there. I don't know, man. I'm not the best at math.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. 1k per 2 minutes. I have that back. I have my math backwards there.
You know what? They're ahead.
They're ahead. That's what matters there, is they are ahead, and they're going to try to look to close this game out. Going for that last inhibitor on the bot side. Got to get a wave going. As Dax and Chris are looking for something to find right here, looking for a kill. Graviel goes forward, gonna take a bit of damage, and now Carrot's trying to headbutt them out. Kaisa jumps over the wall, but Lights is here. Ooh, misses the chains onto Graviel, but they're gonna slow him down. Now All Might's gonna stun him up, gonna throw a boulder. Graviel's gonna be forced to queue out, and they've secured the bottom top jungle, and now they're gonna push this way, escort this wave in, and try to take this inhibitor turret.
It's really just the final death march for BBZ, just running into PTP's base as the top lane and mid lane super minions crash into their base while they get the top lane into.
Ooh, Dax flashing forward. Oh, the speed on him, though. Gets the sleep onto Kaisa, and he's going to take him down 1v3, basically. And now Dax on the run, the root going into the Vanal. Vanal's going to go down. Lights goes godlike, and now they're chasing onto Graviel. Graviel getting pretty low. They're going to knock Lights into the air. Carrot's trying to buy some time. The ult forced out right there. And it's going to be another death, taking down double kill for Lights. Kaisa down 2. It's just going to be the Vladimir and the Alistair to try to hold it, but I don't think they can. And it's going to be BBZ marching on to 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, a very clean game from BBZ. Just demolishing their opponents. PTP shouldn't... Honestly, I did like PTP's draft, where the Ulawi pick, where I thought it wasn't going to be as great as maybe something like if they had picked Gnar themselves, or just maybe just a standard top laner, just not even a bruiser, maybe just a tank. I do think Vano played the lane pretty well, where he was able to get a lot of damage on All Might the hero, more than I expected, and I did overall like their draft, but their macro was a little bit lackluster, and their overall mechanics when trying to execute some of these plays showed some hesitance, especially in the late game. Their team started to fall apart, where it looked a little bit more like solo queue.
Yeah, you could see them, every kill they just got super hyped on it. They were all playing Jinx in their head, but not realizing that they still were down 10k gold at that point, at some of those points, and could not take those fights. Still a good showing from them. Lights with an insane amount of damage, 27,022 for that Lilia. The Vladimir, though, I want to point that out, for PTP, was pretty big, and honestly, with 21,000 damage for himself.
Yeah, for the amount of gold he was lacking and the amount of items he didn't have, he was actually outputting as much damage as he could, trying to from a safe position. In the end, it just wasn't enough. But if you're PTP, after looking at this, I think you can walk away with this weekend. Sure, you're 0-2. But you're going to learn more. If you're able to learn more from these 2 games, I think having that record of the 2 wins in the first 2 weeks is way better having those losses and learning something from it.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, you learn more in defeat than in victory. That's if I remember the saying going correctly. But overall, good game, a good way to end the week. Now we've got 3 teams now at 3-0 after the first week of play. Oh, 2-0, sorry.
Of course, there's only 2 games, but yes, there are 3 teams at 2-0, and I'm excited to see the head-to-heads in the following weeks. So of course, for our teams that are 0-2, still early on in the season, but we'll be excited to see them play out too.
At indeed. And we actually do have, and looking at the matchups for next week, second day of next week, BBZ versus UB. They both went out on their first day of next week. It's going to be a battle for undefeated teams going right into it.
Yeah, of course, just straight off the bat, week 2, we see the undefeated teams go up against each other. We'll see how their play styles kind of conflict, where it seems like both of these teams kind of they actually play very well together, but I have a feeling that the the individual mechanics are going to be more of the naysay of the matchups rather than the macro play.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very exciting match to watch. You won't want to miss it. Well, that does it for us from the live broadcast. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back with an interview. Just don't go anywhere.
All right, and welcome back. That was the last game of the day, BBZ versus PTP. I've got with me Champion Red, the ADC for Team BBZ. How are you doing today, Champion?
I'm doing really well, thanks. Glad we won.
Yeah, glad you won. So I got to ask you, so you were basically on a sub for ATL last season. I got to play a little bit. Now you're actually like pretty much like it seems like you're one of the go-to guys for BBZ. How's that been playing out for you so far?
Yeah, I didn't really do a whole lot for Atlas. I just kind of did some scrims with them, but so far, you know, I kind of just got voted team captain and coach. So I'm doing all the drafts and yeah, it's going really well. We have really good synergy together. We just need to clean up a little bit.
Yeah, just got to clean it up a little bit. Well, so actually it's kind of funny because on the other side for Team PTP, they had a newer ADC as well. Rat was kind of like, he didn't play with them last season. He was a newer guy this season. So how do you think he kind of stacked up like in comparison to what you remember doing those scrims with Atlas?
I thought he did good. You know, I didn't really expect him to be able to win in that matchup. Zaya's incredibly good into Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa wants to dive the back line usually, and Zaya just denies that entirely, and she just wins the lane too. So I wasn't really concerned about the laning phase, especially since we had Rel. So, but despite that, he did really well.
Yeah, definitely seems like you guys had the game pretty much in hand, though. It seemed like. What did you have a game plan going in, like kind of what you expected PTP to pick, kind of a thing?
No, they actually kind of threw me way off because when we scrimmed against them before, I was messaging with their previous AD carry, and he mentioned that he doesn't play Kaisa, I believe. And so when they picked it, it kind of threw me off guard. And then they actually ended up doing role swap, like players were in different roles. So I kind of didn't know it was happening in draft from their side.
Well, you certainly seemed like you recovered from it pretty well. But I've got one last question for you, because I don't think I've ever actually seen Pentakill Teemo Please play too much Teemo, and yet you guys banned it anyway?
Yeah. Yeah, we
What's
did.
up with that?
So it started when we scrimmed against them. We just didn't even want to deal with it at all on the off chance, because All Might was really, or All Might and Crossongo were really the only two players that had played against them. And I was just like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with playing this, so I banned it. And we ended up banning it all 3 games, and then it kind of just carried over.
So pretty much we should know that they're never going to get to play Teemo, are they?
I might let them have it in playoffs.
I might let them have it in playoffs. Well, thank you, Champion Red. Really appreciate it. Great having you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, and everyone else, stick around. We're going to take another quick break. We're actually going to be hopping over to the FOF Lounge. We're trying out this new format where we're going to go ahead and break down the day's games, talk about some stuff, just kind of hang out. Stick around, and we'll see y'all in a few minutes.